Behind the golden gates of old Hollywood, there were mansions that held more than just luxury. They held secrets. These were places where stars laughed, cried, and sometimes hid truth the public would never fully know. Grand ballrooms once echoed with music, now stand in silence. Gardens that hosted the elite are overgrown and forgotten. Tonight, we unlock the doors to Hollywood's most legendary and now abandoned estates. 1. Jayne Mansfield's Pink Palace. In the 1950s, no Hollywood home turned heads quite like Jayne Mansfield's Pink Palace. Perched in Beverly Hills, the Mediterranean-style mansion was impossible to miss. Painted entirely in bubblegum pink with matching cupids, fountains, and even a heart-shaped swimming pool. Inside, everything was drenched in her signature color from the carpet to the walls, with gold-plated fixtures and a champagne fountain in the master bathroom. Mansfield purchased the estate in 1957 for $76,000, a bargain even then, and transformed it into a shrine to her over-the-top persona.
Our entire home was drawn up. We drew up our plans and then we went and had everything custom made.
It became the backdrop for wild parties filled with celebrities, photographers, and more than a little Hollywood gossip. Guests were dazzled, but the upkeep was enormous, and whispers of financial strain began to circulate. Tragically, Mansfield's life was cut short in a 1967 car accident at just 34 years old. The Pink Palace passed through several owners, including Ringo Starr and Engelbert Humperdinck, but none could restore its original magic. Over the decades, the mansion fell into disrepair, its once vivid charm fading. Preservationists tried to save it, but in 2002, the house was demolished, replaced by a new modern home with no trace of Mansfield's vision. Today, the Pink Palace survives only in photographs and memories, a symbol of Hollywood excess, youthful ambition, and how quickly even the brightest dreams can fade. 2. Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch. Few celebrity homes have captured the public's imagination like Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch. Tucked away in the rolling hills of Los Olivos, California, this sprawling 2,700-acre estate wasn't just a mansion, it was a private fantasy world. Inspired by the tale of Peter Pan, Jackson filled the grounds with a full-size amusement park, a petting zoo, a train that wound through manicured gardens, and whimsical statues at every turn. Purchased in 1988 for a reported $17 million, Neverland quickly became Jackson's sanctuary, a place where he could retreat from the pressures of fame and indulge in the childhood he felt he never had. It hosted elaborate parties, charity events, and visits from sick children, earning a reputation as one of the most unique celebrity residences in the world. But by the 2000s, the magic of Neverland was overshadowed by legal troubles and intense media scrutiny. Jackson stopped living there full-time, and the property began to deteriorate. Financial difficulties forced the estate into foreclosure, and it was eventually sold and rebranded as Sycamore Valley Ranch, stripping away the Neverland name. Today, though much of it has been restored, the place feels like a shadow of its former self, a reminder of Jackson's unmatched creativity and the darker turns that fame can take. The gates may still stand, but the wonderland they guarded is long gone. 3. Bob Hope's Toluca Lake Estate. For more than half a century, Bob Hope's Toluca Lake Estate was a beacon of old-school Hollywood charm. Spanning 5 acres in the heart of Los Angeles, the property included a sprawling main house, a private golf course, swimming pools, tennis courts, and multiple guest houses. Hope, an avid golfer, would often be spotted practicing on his personal putting greens, sometimes with celebrity friends like Bing Crosby or Frank Sinatra by his side. Purchased in the late 1930s, the estate became the setting for countless Hollywood gatherings. Hope and his wife Dolores entertained presidents, movie stars, and dignitaries in a warm but undeniably opulent atmosphere. From charity events to holiday parties, the home was a hub of glamour and generosity, reflecting Hope's unique blend of showmanship and affability. After Bob and Dolores passed away, the estate's fate became uncertain. The property was eventually sold, and while parts of it were preserved, many of the original features that gave it character were altered or removed. The private golf course, once Hope's pride and joy, became a relic of another era. 4. Lucille Ball's Beverly Hills home. Lucille Ball's Beverly Hills mansion wasn't just a home, it was a cornerstone of television history. Purchased in the early 1950s, the elegant 1920s residence became the headquarters for the creative empire she built with I Love Lucy and Desilu Productions. Nestled on North Roxbury Drive, the home boasted manicured gardens, spacious entertaining areas, and a warmth that reflected Ball's larger-than-life personality. During her marriage to Desi Arnaz, the house was a hub of laughter, parties, and high-profile gatherings, often filled with fellow stars and industry friends. Even after their divorce, Ball kept the property, making it her sanctuary amid the pressures of fame. She was known to greet fans from her driveway and even pose for the occasional photograph with tourists who managed to find her address. Over the decades, renovations and ownership changes chipped away at its original charm. While the structure still stands, much of the vintage character that defined it during Ball's life has been replaced. For fans, though, the home remains an enduring landmark, a tangible link to the queen of television comedy. Standing before it, one can almost hear the echoes of Lucy's iconic laugh, a reminder of a time when this house was the heartbeat of classic TV. 5. Frank Sinatra's Twin Palms estate. In the sun-soaked city of Palm Springs, Frank Sinatra built a retreat that perfectly matched his cool mid-century style. Known as Twin Palms for the two towering trees in its courtyard, the home was a masterpiece of modernist architecture. Clean lines, glass walls, and a piano-shaped swimming pool that reflected Sinatra's love of music. Constructed in 1947, it quickly became the Rat Pack's desert headquarters. Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., and Marilyn Monroe were among the guests who partied here until the early hours. The estate wasn't just about glamour. It was also the backdrop for Sinatra's turbulent marriage to Ava Gardner. Arguments between the two were said to be as legendary as the parties, and one infamous incident left a crack in the bathroom sink after a thrown champagne bottle. After Sinatra moved on in the 1950s, the house passed through multiple owners, some preserving its vintage charm, others making changes that dulled its original spark. By the 1990s, the estate had fallen into neglect before being restored as a rental for events and film shoots. Today, Twin Palms still stands, but it's quieter now, a polished shell of the lively, chaotic haven it once was. For those who step inside, it's easy to imagine the clink of cocktail glasses, the murmur of deals being made, and Sinatra's voice drifting through the warm desert air. 6. Dean Martin's Trousdale Estates home. High in the hills above Beverly Hills, Dean Martin's Trousdale Estates home was the perfect blend of Rat Pack luxury and private retreat. Built in the sleek mid-century modern style of the 1960s, the house featured sprawling glass walls that opened to panoramic views of Los Angeles, a shimmering pool, and open-plan spaces designed for entertaining. Martin, the king of cool, was known for hosting intimate but unforgettable gatherings here. Unlike the raucous parties of his friend Frank Sinatra, Dean preferred evenings filled with fine wine, good music, and select company. Guests might find themselves seated around his piano, listening to Martin croon effortlessly into the night. The home was both a stage and a sanctuary, a place where his public persona and private life blended seamlessly. After Martin's passing in 1995, the property changed hands several times. Each new owner put their own stamp on the estate, altering features and modernizing its design. While these updates brought the home into the new century, they also erased many of the original touches that reflected Martin's personal taste and laid-back charm. Today, the Trousdale home still commands million-dollar views, but the echoes of Dean's smooth voice and easy laughter have faded into memory. For those who knew the man and his music, it's hard to imagine this hilltop paradise without its most charismatic resident, a reminder that even the coolest legends eventually leave the stage. 7. Elizabeth Taylor's Bel-Air Mansion. Elizabeth Taylor's Bel-Air Mansion was as glamorous and captivating as the actress herself. Nestled behind high gates and lush gardens, the sprawling estate featured luxurious interiors, grand entertaining rooms, and a collection of fine art and jewelry that reflected Taylor's legendary taste. Every corner of the house seemed to sparkle, from the crystal chandeliers to the vibrant bouquets she kept in nearly every room. Taylor purchased the property during the height of her career, using it as both a private refuge and a stage for some of Hollywood's most exclusive gatherings. Royalty, presidents, and film legends all passed through its doors. Friends recalled the home's warmth, noting that despite its grandeur, Taylor made guests feel welcome and at ease, whether they were dining in the formal room or relaxing by the pool. The mansion also served as a quiet workspace for Taylor's philanthropic efforts, particularly her groundbreaking advocacy for AIDS research and awareness. It was here that she planned charity events that raised millions for causes close to her heart. After Taylor's passing in 2011, the estate eventually sold, and while it remains a prized piece of Bel-Air real estate, much of her personal touch has been lost to time and renovations. Today, it's just another elegant address in a city full of them. But for those who remember, it will always be the home of a woman whose beauty, talent, and generosity were larger than life. 8. Marion Davies' Santa Monica Beach House. In the 1920s, Marion Davies' Santa Monica Beach House was one of the most extravagant homes in America. Built as a lavish gift from publishing tycoon William Randolph Hearst, the estate sprawled across the beachfront with more than 100 rooms, lush gardens, tennis courts, and a massive marble swimming pool. Designed for entertaining, it quickly became a gathering place for Hollywood's brightest stars, as well as political leaders and royalty. The guest list was a who's who of the era. Charlie Chaplin, Clark Gable, Winston Churchill, and countless others walked its halls. Lavish parties stretched late into the night, with orchestras playing while guests danced under the California moonlight. For a time, the beach house embodied the peak of Hollywood's golden age glamour, but as the years passed, Hearst's finances suffered, and maintaining such an opulent property became impossible. After Hearst's death in 1951 and Davies in 1961, the estate fell into decline. Eventually, most of it was demolished, with only a few structures surviving. The once grand pool was repurposed as part of the public Annenberg Community Beach House, offering visitors a glimpse into the property's storied past. Today, standing on the site, it's hard to imagine the grandeur that once dominated this stretch of coastline. Yet the echoes of laughter, music, and romance still linger in the sea breeze, a haunting reminder of an age when Hollywood royalty ruled the shore. 9. Betty White's Brentwood Home. Betty White's Brentwood home was as warm and inviting as the woman herself. Purchased in the late 1960s, the modest yet elegant property was a far cry from the sprawling estates of other Hollywood icons. Nestled on a quiet street surrounded by lush greenery, the house reflected White's down-to-earth personality, offering comfort and charm over ostentation. Here she shared her life with her beloved husband Alan Ludden until his passing in 1981. Friends and neighbors remember the couple's open-door hospitality, where laughter flowed as easily as the coffee Betty served at her kitchen table. The home's cozy living spaces were adorned with personal photographs, memorabilia from her decades-long career, and tributes to her lifelong love of animals. White's yard was just as famous, with gardens that she tended herself and a backyard that served as a haven for her golden retrievers. This was her sanctuary, the place she returned to after filming, interviews, and award shows. A retreat from the bright lights where she could simply be Betty. After her passing in 2021 at the age of 99, the house was quietly listed for sale. Though it quickly found a buyer, the interiors were modernized, erasing much of her personal touch. Yet for fans and friends, the Brentwood home will always be remembered as a place filled with love, laughter, and the genuine warmth of one of Hollywood's most beloved stars. 10. Marilyn Monroe's Brentwood home. Marilyn Monroe's Brentwood home was the first house she ever bought on her own, and tragically, the last place she lived. Purchased in early 1962 for just over $75,000, the single-story Spanish-style residence sat behind high walls and lush gardens, offering her a rare sense of privacy. Monroe decorated it with a blend of Mexican tiles, rustic wood beams, and bright, inviting colors, creating a sanctuary far removed from the chaos of her public life. Friends described the home as peaceful, with sunlight streaming through French doors and the scent of fresh flowers filling the air. It was here that Monroe seemed determined to build a new chapter for herself, embracing independence and stability after years of personal and professional turbulence. But on the night of August 4, 1962, the house became the setting for one of Hollywood's greatest tragedies, when Monroe was found dead in her bedroom at just 36 years old. Her sudden passing shocked the world, and the home instantly became a place of pilgrimage for fans seeking a connection to the star. Over the years, the property changed hands multiple times, with renovations altering parts of its original design. Yet many of the features Monroe chose remain intact, offering subtle glimpses into her life. Today, it stands as both a symbol of her final days and a reminder of the woman behind the legend. A woman who, for a brief moment, found peace within its walls. While time has transformed or erased many of these properties, their stories remain etched in Hollywood history. They remind us that behind every glittering career lies a private world, often as dramatic as anything seen on screen. Drop a comment below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more forgotten Hollywood tales.